Contrast. 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 Let's talk about the word contrast. So, the part of speech for contrast is primarily a noun. But it can also be used as a verb, especially in informal contexts. As a noun, contrast typically refers to the difference or opposition between two things that are otherwise similar, like contrasting opinions or contrasting lifestyles. For example, the old and modern designs stood out as contrasts. When used as a verb, to contrast means to show or point out these differences, such as the documentary aimed to contrast the rich and the poor. One special note about its usage is that in formal writing, it's generally preferred to use the phrase contrast with instead of contrasted by. So you'd say, the results contrasted sharply with the expectations. Here are 3 practical example sentences using the word contrast with varying tones and contexts. You know, I've always found it interesting to contrast the modern cityscape of Tokyo with the traditional temples and gardens that dot the city. In this context, a casual conversation between friends or classmates is taking place, where the tone is relaxed and the focus is on sparking curiosity and discussion. In our analysis of market trends, we observed a striking contrast between the growth rates of e-commerce companies in Asia versus those in North America, highlighting regional differences in consumer behavior. Here, a formal usage is employed to convey academic or business expertise, with attention to precision and technical vocabulary. This context would be suitable for a research paper, presentation, or professional report. By juxtaposing the stark contrast between the lush vegetation on one side of the river and the industrial wasteland on the other, our artist friend aimed to raise awareness about environmental degradation and spark public discussion. In this example, a business or academic usage is used to convey a sense of formal authority and gravitas, making it suitable for a conference presentation, journal article, or professional blog post focused on environmental issues. The tone is serious and analytical, with an emphasis on conveying complex ideas in a clear manner. So you're trying to figure out what contrast means? Well, think of it like this. When we want to show how two things are very different from each other, maybe in their appearance, their personalities, or even just their ideas, that's basically what contrast is all about. It's not just showing something, but really highlighting the differences between two things, so you can see exactly why they're unique. For example, if someone describes a bright sunny day and then tells you how it's different from a gloomy rainy one, they're using contrast to help you understand those differences clearly. In that sense, similar concepts or synonyms might include words like difference, opposite, or even just highlighting the key features of something. Basically anything that helps show us what makes things special and set apart from others. Cycle. 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 The word cycle is quite versatile. As a noun, it refers to a series of events that repeat themselves in a specific order, often used in contexts like business, e.g., the sales cycle, education, e.g., a learning cycle, and even biology, e.g., the water cycle. In common usage, you'll hear people talk about cycling as a mode of transportation, but technically, that's a different word, bicycle. You might also use cycle to describe the repetition of events in everyday life, such as I'm going through a good, bad cycle, to refer to a period of time with positive, negative experiences. One special note about cycle is that it can be used as a verb too, meaning to put or keep something, like a bicycle, on a stand or rack, e.g., cycle your bike after use to protect the tires. This dual nature makes cycle a useful word to know, but also requires attention to context to avoid confusion. Here are 3 practical example sentences using the word cycle, along with a brief context explanation for each. The company's new recycling program is designed to minimize waste and create a positive environmental cycle where materials are continuously reused. In this formal business context, the use of the word cycle emphasizes the cyclical nature of the system, conveying a sense of sustainability and responsibility. I love going on long bike rides through the park. It's so great to get some exercise while being outdoors. And I feel like my whole life is in sync with nature's cycle. In this casual conversation context, using the word cycle adds a touch of whimsy and natural connection, making the speaker's experience sound more enjoyable and carefree. The researcher spent years studying the global water cycle, mapping out patterns of precipitation and evaporation to better understand climate change. In an academic or business setting, using the term water cycle is more precise than just cycle, highlighting the scientific context and specific domain of knowledge, which is essential for conveying complex information and technical expertise. So you're trying to figure out what a cycle is? Think of it as a series of repeated events or actions that happen in a specific order. Kind of like a never-ending story that unfolds over and over again. It's like when you wake up, go to school, come home, eat dinner, and then do it all over the next day. Same thing happens every time. This pattern can be found in many areas, such as nature, like the phases of the moon, business, like how a company makes money, or even just your daily routine. The main idea is that it's a process that keeps happening again and again, with each repetition being similar to the one before. Some people also call this concept a loop or a repeating pattern. But the key thing to remember is that it's something that happens many times in a row, like an ongoing story. Debate. 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 So, let's talk about the word debate. In English, it is primarily a noun, referring to a discussion or argument between 2 or more people on a particular topic, where each side presents its point of view. Commonly, you'll see debate used in contexts like formal discussions, academic settings, or even TV shows and online forums, where people engage in respectful disagreement or discussion. One special note about the usage of debate is that it often implies a sense of intellectual or logical consideration, so you might see it associated with words like discuss, argue, or discourse. Additionally, when used as a verb, to debate means to take part in or engage in such a discussion. The university will be hosting a debate on the topic of climate change next week, featuring 2 renowned professors who will present opposing views. In this formal setting, the word debate is used to convey a sense of intellectual rigor in academic discourse, implying a thoughtful examination of complex ideas. For instance, she said that her professor suggested they have a lively debate in class on the merits of Keynesian economics, indicating an expectation for students to engage with the subject matter critically. However, when a friend jokingly said he won't watch a presidential debate because his candidate's speechwriter is on strike, the word debate was used more casually. In this context, it referred to a televised event where politicians present their positions and respond to questions from moderators. often resulting in heated exchanges and disagreements between the candidates. The tone here is lighthearted and conversational, with an emphasis on entertainment value rather than intellectual substance. In a business setting, the company's marketing team leader mentioned that they had a debate among stakeholders about whether to launch their new product now or wait until the competition releases its own similar offering. In this instance, the word debate implies a discussion or deliberation with multiple perspectives being considered, often leading to a decision or compromise. This usage highlights the importance of weighing different viewpoints and potential outcomes in making informed business decisions. So, you want to know about this thing where people discuss and argue about different ideas or opinions? Well, let me explain. A main characteristic of it is that people present their own viewpoints and try to convince others by using logic, evidence, and sometimes even passion. They might also listen to opposing views and respond with counterarguments. You'll often see it happening in formal settings like schools, universities, or even online forums, where people want to discuss and explore different perspectives on a topic. Similar concepts or synonyms for this thing include discussions or exchanges. But what I'm thinking of is more structured and intentional, like when people prepare arguments to present to each other. When it's used, it can help people clarify their thoughts, understand different viewpoints, and even change their minds, which can be really valuable for personal growth and learning.